Hello guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. And for today's video, let's talk about on how you will going to create your electrical power layout. As you all know, we do all have gadgets and devices, and these devices can be easily drained up if you continuously using it. And that is why when you want to charge it up, the first thing that you're going to be looking for are the sockets. And these sockets are what we call convenience outlet or mga saksakan. And these convenience outlet are part of electrical drawings, which is the electrical power layout. Electrical drawings are very important to us. Sometimes when you go to family trip or vacation trip and you go to beaches and resort, and once you go to your cottages and you want to charge up your cell phone and devices, and you're gonna be looking for the sockets and you find nothing, you feel frustrated. Why? Because electricity do really means to you. Same thing, electrical drawings are also important when it comes to building construction. Some of us do not focus on these electrical drawings because we tend to focus more on architectural and structural drawings because we want to build our structure aesthetically. But the thing is, if we do not focus on this kind of drawings, problems can be found on mid construction. So on our part, as an AutoCAD user, how can we create our electrical power layout? First thing and foremost, you need to know what do electrical power layout consist of. Well, electrical drawings consist of the different convenience outlet that we will be used during construction. I will be giving some of the example of the convenience outlet, and these are the single gang convenience outlet, the 2-gang and the 3-gang convenience outlet, and we do have our special purposes outlet. What are these special purpose outlet? These are the outlets for the aircon, for the washing machine, for the heater, for the stove, and many more. You do also need a base plan. And what is base plan? Base plan are basically a reference plan from the architectural plan so that you could have an idea on how the floor plan would look like. If you do not know how to create a base plan, I will be giving up a link on the description below on how you will going to create your base plan. Second thing, you need a title block. So for this case, I will be using a 20 by 30 title block. You can also use a letter size, an A3 size, or an A0 size title block. If you do not know how to create a title block, I will be giving up a link on the description below on how you can create your own title. On electrical layout, you also need a design. The question is, am I qualified to design this one? The answer is no. There are only certain professionals who are qualified to design electrical drawings, and they are what we call the registered electrical engineer and the professional electrical engineer. They are the one who will give to you the size of the breaker, the ampere trip, and also for the feeder size and for the grounding size, and many more. So on your part, what you can only do is to give them the idea on where this outlet will be placed from. And the last thing, we do need to create a block that will represent all of our convenience outlet that we will be using in our drawing. So since we do all have these requirements, we can now start our electrical power layout. So tara, start tayo. So we will now going to create our electrical power layout. So to begin with is we will now going to open up an empty drawing which is control new. Okay. And then if a dialog box will look like this, you will just go to this arrow and then open with no template and then metric. Okay, so we do have a blank we do have an empty drawings, and then I'm just going to go to my recent folder, which is okay. So I will just go to my documents, to my AutoCAD files, and then first project. Okay, so this folder can be found depending on you on where do you save the last time that we have created. Okay, so I'm going to click this 2-story residential building. Okay, and as you can see on your screen, this is the lighting layout that we have created last time. So for now, we will now creating our electrical power layout. So we will just go to our model. Okay, so we will now go to our model, and then as you can see, this is the last time that we have done. This is the lighting layout. Okay, and for now, we will now creating our power layout. So this is what I'm telling you. This is the base plan that we need. This is came from the architectural. So if you do not know how to create your base plan, just go to the link in the description below so that you would know how to create your base plan. So for now, I will be copying this base plan. Okay, so escape CO for copy. And then I will select this object and then enter, and then specify base point. Okay, and then I will drag this one right here. Okay, okay. So for now, I will be creating for our layout. So how we will going to start or to begin with is we will create a symbol or a blocks for the different convenience outlet that we will be creating. So this is the most basic or common convenience outlet that we will be doing. So to begin with, escape, C enter, because we will need to create a circle. So I again escape, C enter, and then the command line will tell to you this to specify the center point. So assuming anywhere point in the drawing, you can create a circle. So I will just click in here, and then I will drag this out, and then the command line will tell to you to specify the radius of the circle. Since I am assuming that I will be using a 300 millimeter radius circle, I will be going to input 150 millimeter, so that I could create a 300 circle. Okay, so after creating a circle, make sure that the layer of this one is still on the lightning layout. Okay, but if you want, you can create also a layer. Okay, and then you will now go to LO and then press enter, so that you could create, or you can just simply click this one, new layer. Okay, and then automatically you have copied all the properties of this lighting layout. Okay, so now we will now create PO. PO stands for power outlet. Okay, or you can just simply like CO, convenience outlet, guys. Then press enter, and then you just need to close this one. Okay, so after clicking the circle, you will now go to your layer, and then you need to change this into CO. Okay, so that we will know that this is a convenience out. Okay, after creating that, we will now need to offset this one by 100. 100. Escape, O enter, and then specify offset distance is 100, and then select object. Okay, and then another offset by 50. Okay, and then we will now create a line. Okay, so the line would be in the middle of this quadrant and this quadrant. Okay, so go to your OS or OSNAP settings. Okay, make sure that you have checked the the quadrant. Okay, and then we will now press OK. Okay, and then now we will now create a line which is XL, enter, and then we will now select for a vertical. Okay, and then we will now type MTP. MTP stands for midpoint between 2 points, so we will now can get the midpoint of this 2. Okay, and then we will also create a line between those 2 points, which is MTP. Okay, from this point up to this point. Okay, and then we will also create a line from the center of those 2 points, which is MTP, so that we can create a line within those 2 points. And then we will delete this one. Okay, and then we will now trim this one, TR, double enter. Okay, and then we will now delete all the lines that we do not need. Okay, and then delete this one. So after that, we will now going to mirror this one. So to mirror that one, escape, MI, enter, and then you will select the object, enter again, and then you will select this quadrant and then drag that one, and then erase source object, no. Okay, and then we will now change this layer into a yellow one, which is 0.2. Okay, so this is a symbol or a block for a convenience outlet. So it means that we have created this block. We will now going to block this object. Okay, so how to block this one? Escape, and then B enter for the block. And then a dialog box will be seeing like this. And then we will now block this one as convenience outlet. Convenience outlet. Oops, sorry. Convenience outlet. And then after having that is we will now to select object. We will select all this one and then enter. And then we will select a pick point. A pick point would not be on the center but on this side. Enter. Okay, and then we will now press OK. Okay, so after that, after selecting this block, remember to switch this layer into a convenience outlet that we have created. Okay, and then we have now a convenience outlet. And then what we need to do is to create another block for the special purposes outlet. So how we will do that? Again, we will now create a circle which is escape, C enter, and then the command line will tell to you to specify the center point. So again, anywhere in the drawing, and then just drag it out. And we will be using a radius of 150 again. Okay, but this time we will now create a line. Okay, so how to create a line? Escape, L enter. L enter, escape, L enter, and then we will now use MTP. Okay, MTP for the midpoint between 2 points. So basically, we are getting the center of those 2 points, and then we will select this quadrant. Okay, and then press enter, and then we will not just going to extend this one. To extend this, escape, EX, and then enter, double enter. I mean, escape, EX, enter, and then click that one. And if the line has been extended to that point, you will now going to mirror this line. So to mirror this one, escape, MI enter, select object, and then we will use this reference point and then drag out and then enter. And then we will also create a line, escape, L enter, a line from here to here. Okay, and then remember to change this into a yellow one, which is layered. Okay, so after that, we will now going to hatch this one. So to hatch this one, oops, okay, so we just need to change the layer of this one into a convenience outlet. Okay, and then escape. So we will now switch our current layer into a convenience outlet again, so that we can make sure that all of the lines that we will be using will be under on the convenience outlet layer. Okay, so we will now hatch this one, escape, hatch, or H enter. Okay, and then we will now select solid, and then we will now change the color into color 8. Okay, and then we will now press this one and then enter again. Okay, so after having this, you will now going to block this one. So to block this one is escape, B enter. Okay, select object, and then we will now put SPO. SPO stands for special purposes outlet. And then we will now going to pick point this one at the center or even here. And then we will now press OK. Okay. So we do have our convenience outlet, and we do have for our special purpose outlet. We can now lay out our drawings. Okay. So I'm just assuming that the design of this power layout has been made by the professional electrical engineer, and what I'm trying to do right now is to convert that design into a computer aided. Okay, so we will now going to copy this one. Okay, we will copy. Okay, and then we will put right here. Okay, maybe if you want some aesthetically, you can create an X line, guys, and then horizontal, and then offset that with by hundreds. Okay, and then you just ensure that the bottom of that circle was aligned to that 100-meter offset distance. Okay, and then you will delete this one, assuming that we have a convenience outlet here, and we do also need a convenience outlet here, but the orientation should be not like that. So we will now going to rotate, escape, RO, enter. And then we will select from the center, and then we will now select, we will input 180 rotation. Okay, and then you can create an X line horizontal, then offset again by 100, and then make sure that it is aligned with it. Okay, so we will now delete the line. Okay, or maybe you can still use that. Okay, and then assuming that for this room you will be using an air conditioning unit, that is why we will now be using our special purpose outlet, and then we will now copy this one. Okay, and then we will copy, and assuming that we do have a window type or even a split type, and then you will going to put your aircon here. Okay, and then you will now going to move this one up to this point, and then after that you will now create a text. So to check out our text style, escape, st, enter, and then we will now create your Roman S. So if you are wondering why do I have this text style, because my AutoCAD is have set up already. If you do not know how to set up your AutoCAD, I will be giving also a link in the description below on how you going to set up your AutoCAD. And the thing is, this current project was being made before, so I suggest that before you watch this video, watch first the first part of this, which is the electrical lighting layout. Okay, so for continuation, I will be selecting Swiss and then set current, and then we will now close this dialog box. Then escape, DT, and then we will now use the justify, and then top left, and then we will select from this point, and then specify height would be 200, enter, and then rotation angle would be 0, and then we will now create a word of ECU, and then enter again. Okay, we will now change this into a text. Okay. Okay. Depending on your scale, it can change up depending on your desired scale. Okay, so for this, so you can change this, you can create this by 150 depending on the scale desired that you want. Okay, so we do have an ECU here, okay, and a convenience outlet here. Okay, assuming that for this room we will now also need an ECU or an air conditioning unit, that has put it here. Okay, and then I will now going to copy this one, and then assuming that I need a convenience outlet here, that is why I'm going to rotate this one by 90 degrees, so 90. Okay, so we will now going to mirror this one, and then we will erase down the object. Yes. Okay, and then we will now create a reference line, which is XL, enter, V, enter. Okay, and then we will now offset by 100. Okay, this is just only for formality guys now, but you can create these blocks by not just drawing the reference line. Okay, so assuming that we do have a convenience outlet there, and we need also a convenience outlet right here, assuming only rotate now. Okay, then we will now create a reference line, XL, enter, horizontal, and then offset by 100. We would like to offset this one guys because we do not want to collide all of our lines. Okay, because the tendency, if we will just going to put here, and then we will create a line here later on, The tendency, if you use a small scale for our plants, the tendency that these two lines, the lines of our walls and the lines for our electrical, would collide. And that is why we want to offset this one by 100 so that we can make sure that those two lines will not collide. Okay? And then I will assume that we also need a convenience outlet here. Maybe this is just an hallway. We will now going to mirror this one. Escape, MI enter. Select the object. We will now going to click this one and then make sure that your ortho is on. Okay, and then select, and then we will now click yes. Okay, and then we will now create an X line again. XL enter. Or you can just simply put it here in the wall and then you will just move by 100. So to make sure that these two lines are 100 offset distance. Okay. Okay, after that, we will now create also a convenience outlet here, assuming that this is okay. And then another one, copy it. Copy it by a 500. And then you will now going to move this one right here. Move into the wall. And then you will now going to move it again by 100. Okay. And then we will now going to copy again. And then assuming that we do have a convenience outlet, we will now going to rotate this one by 180, or you can use the command mirror. I will going now to put this on the wall and then move it by 100 again. Okay. Okay, so assuming that we also need a convenience outlet outside in the parking area, I will be putting up. Okay, and then I will just going to rotate this one. Okay. And then I will going to move this one on the wall and then move it 100. Okay. Okay, so assuming that this is just an assumption, guys. Okay. So I think I do have a problem here. Okay, so this is just an example, guys. Okay, so what we are going to do right now is to branch it out. Okay, so what we have done, so what we have done here is we have created these outlets for our second floor. So we will now be creating our power layout for our ground floor. We will now copy first our base plan. Okay, right there. Okay, and then we will now copy this two again. Okay, I will just copy this two again. Okay, right here. Okay, so assuming that I do need two convenience outlet there, so I will now going to copy this one right here, and also one right here. And then we will now going to rotate this one, escape, RO, enter. And then we will now select the base point. And then we will now input 180. I will going to put this on the wall. And then move this by 100. Same thing for this convenience outlet. I will going to move this one, escape, M, enter. Select this point up to the wall. And then escape again, M, enter. And then select this block. And then select base point. And then drag this out by 100. Okay. And then as you can see, we have a stove here. Depending on your budget, if you will going to use an electric stove, then we will need a convenience outlet right here. But if you're going to use the old one, which is the gasol, okay, so I think you do not need to. to put or to lay out a convenience outlet here. Depending on you, if you can still have put a convenience outlet here, maybe a 5 years or 3 years later on, you will going to have a lot of money and you are convinced now to purchase an electric stove, then it is good that you have a design already that in the future you will be having a electric stove here, and then the installer would just put a utility box there ready for your socket for your electric stove. For now, I'm assuming that I will be having also an aircon here, right here, and then I will just going to move this one into the wall and then move again by 100. Okay, just make sure that your auto is always on so that you can ensure that it is always 100 distance from the wall by 100. Okay, so that later on if we're going to create a line, we can make sure that all of these lines are, so that we can make sure, so later on we can make a line and then they are all aligned with each other. Okay, so for this room I will now going to create also, we will now copy these two icon or two blocks, assuming that I need a convenience outlet here. Guys, just like what I'm telling you always, this design can vary depending on the design of the engineer. I am just assuming that this is came from the electrical engineer and I am just converting this one into a computer aided graphic. So I'm going to copy this one and then I will put it here and then I will move this one. Okay, and then I will going to move this by 100. Okay, and then same thing for this. Escape, M enter, select object, going to the wall and then move again, and then I will now going to move this one 100 from the wall. Okay, so for checking, okay, this is 100. Okay, and then I will copy this one and then I will put it here. I will going to rotate this one. Okay, I will going to move this block. Okay, and then I will delete this one, assuming that I need a convenience outlet here. Okay, and then for the others I will going to copy this one again, and for this thing I will going to create convenience outlet here. I will going to move it here. I will going to copy this one by a 500, and then I will move this one by 100. Okay, and then I will going to copy this one, escape again, copy, select object, I will going to put it here. I will going to rotate this one and then I will rotate this by 180. Okay, enter, and then I will move this one, move, enter, select object, put it here, move again, and then move by 100. Okay, and then assuming that I have also an aircon here, a split type. Okay, so I'm going now to move, I'm going to copy this one, copy, and then I will put it here. Okay, so assuming that I have an aircon to this side. Okay, and then I will now going to move, and then I will now just move it by 100. Okay, so after having that, okay, so assuming that I do also need an convenience outlet at my parking. Okay, so I will going to rotate this one by 180, I mean by 90. Okay, dapat pala negative 90. Okay, I will going to mirror this one and then delete the source object. I will move this object to the wall and then I will going to move this by 100 again. Okay, so I do have this. Okay, so assuming that I do have also a ref here, assuming. So I will now need a special purpose outlet for my refrigerator. Okay, and then I will move this one right here, and then I will edit the text by ref. Okay, and then I will just move this one. Okay, and then move this by 100. As you already know, all of our convenience outlet are installed in the wall. That is why it is very important that when we reflect it in our computer aided drafting or in AutoCAD, it is nearly in the wall. Okay, so I will just move it 100. Maybe I have forgot it. Okay, so next thing is, yeah, I think this is good enough. And we do have party here. You need a convenience outlet here. Okay, I think I do not need convenience outlet outside. Okay. Okay, assuming that I also need a convenience outlet here. And then I now need to rotate this one. And then I will going to move this one. And then I will going to move again by 100. Okay. So for now, I will going to show to you on how to branch circuit this electrical power layout. So first thing foremost, I will going to divide this one into two. Why do I need to split up into a two branches? Because I just want to assure that if this convenience outlet has a problem and I decide to shut down my breaker, I can still assure that some of the convenience outlet are still functional. And that is why sometimes you need to split up the branches of your convenience outlet. Okay, so how will you going to do that? I will now create a circle here. I mean a line here. A line here, okay, and then a line also here. Okay, and then I will create a line here or a polyline. Okay, I will delete this one. I will create a polyline. Okay, and then after here, you can create a line here, here, and then make sure that you are having an ortho. Okay, escape. We will create now a line here. Okay, then we will now create a fillet. Okay, and then we will now create a line. That are nearly in the wall. Okay, then you will now create a line for this. You will now create a line for this. You will now make a fillet, then fillet again. Then you will trim this out. Okay, and then I will going to create a line here, line here. I will now going to fillet this one so that you would know that the electrical wires are putting up here in the walls. Okay. Okay, so I think I should stop here. I will delete this one because this is the branch one of my convenience outlet. Okay, so the next one, I will now create a line again. We will now create a line, create a line. We will now fillet this one. Okay, and then, okay, so I can create a line here, create a line here, create a line here, and also here. And then we will now fillet those lines. Okay. Okay. So after that, I will going to create a line here, just a small one, and then we will now create a line, then create a line here, and then fillet those lines. Okay, okay, so after that, we will now be needing our branch. So I will not just copy here. So for now, I have a 1, 2 for ground, and then assuming that on the second floor, there will be a 3 and number 4 branch circuit. So I will be using this one as my number 5. Okay, and then I will now use a command which is line, arc, I mean. Okay, okay, and then I will create the line. So the principle for this type of job is to indicate where to this convenience outlet will go to your branch circuit. Later on or on my next videos, maybe on my next videos, I will be explaining to you the different branches of a circuit breaker. Okay, so for now, I'll just assume here number 5. And then for my another branch circuit, okay, I will copy this one. Okay, but since this is, okay, I will going now to mirror this one. Okay, and then I will create an arc here up to here. Okay, I will slice this one, trim this one, delete. I will just going to move this one and EA. Okay, so if you do not know how to create this block, just go to my previous videos so my lighting layout so that you can see on how do I create this kind of blocks. Okay, so after 5, I will go into number 6. Okay, yan. Since I do have the branch circuit number 5 and 6, I will now go to the second floor, which is there are the number 7 and the number 8. Then after number 8, you will now going to put all the special purpose outlet separately. So how do you do that? I will just going to copy this one. Okay. And then I will going to mirror this block. And then I'm going to make an arc here. And then I will going to create a line. I will trim this one. I will move here. I will move it in EA. And then assuming that 7 and 8, so I have number 9. Okay. Separately. And then I will copy this one. I can move it right here. And this is number 10. I can also copy this one. Oh, okay. So I need first to mirror. I think I can also copy this thing. Okay, and this is number 10. I mean 11. Oh no. Okay. And then for the line type, okay, for the line type, I will going to choose phantom. Okay, I'll just check first on my lighting layout. What do I use there? Oh, so I use already the phantom. I will now going to use center line for my center type. Okay, so I will go into match properties here, MA enter. I will now going to, Okay, match properties, all the lines that I've been used in my drawing. Later on, you will see on how does it work. But for now, I will just going to use this line type. Okay, and then we will now go to our layout. We will now going to create a viewport. This is not part of the tutorials. This is just only uh how can you see. Okay, and then so one is 250 XP. Wait, what's my 1 is to 100? Sorry, was the 1 is to 100 XP. Okay. Then we will now going to refresh. Okay, yes. Okay, so I will now going to change. Okay, so where's the properties? Okay. Transparency. No. So line type scale is 1.5. 0.1. Ayun, 0.1. Okay, so masyado siyang malaki. I will use 0.08. 0.02. 0.05. 0.04. And I think that's enough. We will now go into paper space. I will just go back to the model space. And then I will go into match prop this one. MA enter. Okay. And then again, we will be matching up all those lines so that we could have a uniform line type scale for our power layout. Okay, and then going back to our layout, as you can see, we can now have a uniform line type for our power layout. Okay, so I will going to move up this drawing. Okay, and then I can copy this one, and then I will change this one into a defined points so that if I'm going to print this one, this will not be printed. And then I will going to edit this one as instead of lightning, this would be a power layout. And then I'm going to adjust this one, and then after adjustment, you are all done. So basically, this is what a power layout looks like. Okay. And then I will just going to delete this one. Yes. And then we will now going to lock MV enter, L enter, and then on. We will select this two and then enter. So that even if we go to our model, it will not change its scale. Okay, and then skip escape PS enter. So for now, we do have our lighting layout and we do have our power layout. But remember that this is only for ground floor and we do still not have for our second floor. So that was it, and I hope that you learned a lot for today. And for the next video, we will be creating our power layout and lighting layout for our second floor.